about implementation of and return of the catering cart on the Dublin Sligo train. It was withdrawn, this catering cart was withdrawn along with other catering services during the pandemic, but other routes have been returned. The Cork-Dublin one, the catering cart has been returned on the Cork-Dublin route, and also the Belfast-Dublin one. But there's a huge demand for it. Like, I've done this like vox pop on the train, this early morning train, and already we've got, in 2 weeks, we've got over 770 signatures wanting to get it reinstated. And I know that there's demand, because in July 2024, we received reassurances from Barry Kenny of Irish Rail that services will be reinstated excuse me, by the start of 2025. So I wrote to you, Mr. Green, and I received a reply from you saying that at the present time there are no plans to reintroduce catering service on the Sligo-Dublin rail. There is significant cost attached to the provision of such catering services. The income is much less than the cost, and funding for such provision has not been provided. And accordingly, Irish Rail are not in a position to offer such services. So then I inquired what the cost of the service was before it was withdrawn, and what the estimated cost would it be to reinstate the catering services. The response from yourselves said that Irish Rail was in a better position to answer my question, and they transferred my as an FOI to Irish Rail on April 17th, and I've yet to hear a response from this. However, I did hear back from Irish Rail regarding a subsequent question that I asked about the cost of operating the Cork-Dublin catering service, which resumed in May 2023. And the response was, again, was far from reassuring. It was like that Éireann Road Éireann contracts a third-party supplier to provide catering service on the Cork-Dublin line following a competitive tender, and any profits or losses are incurred by them directly. So I suppose I've got two questions about this. That if Irish Rail are unaware of what the profit loss associated with an existing service, how can NTA know that the expenditure required for the reintroduction of the Sligo line will be greater than the income generated? That's the first one. And it seems to me that, is it the responsibility of the NTA to look for this extra funding from the department? It doesn't seem fair to me that, that a private provider can cherry pick that they think are the most profitable, train lines, when surely if they are more profitable, that they can be a substitute method that they would be able to subsidise, and there would be some kind of subsidise between the more profitable routes and the lesser profitable routes.
I know that we got information from Irish Rail that this was just loss-making, full stop, and I can't recollect it, had they run a tender competition which identified that or not. I think they had, but I can't say that with a total certainty. But one way or another, it became clear that it was a loss-making activity, and at a time where we're struggling to find the funding to roll out all the local link services that you heard mentioned here and so on, it became difficult for us to be able to say, well, let's put the money into the catering services, and we haven't been able to do so. And that is the position on it. Can I go back in just for a second of that?
I suppose I just want to press the urgency of this, even if it wasn't a catering cart, even if there was a vending machine put there, because the first train leaves Sligo at 20 to 6, and people are travelling from Donegal, people are travelling from all around, because we don't have cancer care services anywhere in the northwest. There's a lot of people going to hospital appointments to Dublin, so there's no shops are open by the time we get on the train. And then there's like a woman fainted, an elderly woman fainted last week, no one to give her water, and then she had to get off the train at the next stop. So like there's nothing at all on it, and it's one of the longer services. It's like sometimes because there's no looping system, because we don't have a second track, often that people could be on the train for 3.5 hours. And I just think that really needs to be listened to. That even if it is if it's not a profit-making service, there has to be some kind of subsidies to make a provision of a basic service that should be entitled, especially when it's one of the longer routes.
Yeah, I understand the attractiveness of the service. It is down to the money investment that's required. On the vending machine, I actually wondered about that myself. I think the issue is we'd probably have to remove seats out to make space for the vending machine, or remove the toilet out of the carriage, and none of those are attractive propositions. But all I can say is we'll keep it under review. It may be something can be done in the future, but just for now, it literally is, the money isn't there to support that service at the moment.